What up, YouTube? It's the Authentic Man, aka Godson King, back with another quick sort of me giving my reaction or opinion on something that was brought up in the Lapeef network on one of their shows. So I want to go ahead and just get right up into it. Let's go ahead and transition this over here. We're going to take this back real quick. So basically, uh, the premise of the question is basically asking, should men adjust their tone with women and men? We're going to take a quick listen to what Mr. Chicago Rilla has to say on this, and then I'm just going to give my quick response to this. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and enlarge this real quick.
You don't know how to talk to me. You need to adjust your tone, but you don't hear me until I'm assertive. And also, out of understanding that men already see, we already adjust our tone when I hate doing.
The man's perspective. I'm gonna kind of flip flop back and forth between the men and the women. But should men adjust their tone with women and men?
Um, so my immediate answer is I hate doing. Yeah.
Everybody muted in between.
Yes. As leaders, you have to know how to read the room, right? However, here's the interesting thing. Men already see, we already adjust our tone when we encounter another man. What do I mean by that? If you look at the dialogue on Tuesdays, right? Most of the brothers, even when we disagree, there's still a tone in the way that we deal with each other out of mutual respect. Also out of understanding that it could go there real quick. And amongst men, that's not pretty. So we already understand to adjust our tone to other men. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it goes there, ain't no turning back. Ain't no, whoever the bad is, knock this off my shoulder or whatever. We swing it. When those swing, you swing, right? So now, with women, this is the interesting thing. Women will say stuff like, you don't know how to talk to me. You need to adjust your tone, but you don't hear me until I'm assertive and aggressive with you. You don't really hear me until I get in my big boy voice, and like the whole time I'm trying to, hey, listen, hey, baby girl, come on, you gotta believe in me, baby. You gotta trust that what I'm saying is best for the both of us. But you know what I'm saying? You smooth talking it, but then when you get assertive and aggressive, and borderline, I don't even think it's borderline Aggie all the time. It's just that when you get in your Mufasa voice, then that's when you get people's attention, and you get the results. So it's interesting to me that women often call for men to adjust their tone, but you still don't respond until you hear that bass in their voice, right? It's interesting because when we sit on this panel, right?
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause it there and just give my opinion on this and just kind of my perspective on this. So I do hold up, there we go. I do agree that, and I agree with Mr. Chicago Rilla, that when it comes to men off rip know that there's always that low level threat of violence, to where if we cannot necessarily agree from a speaking term, then things can get physical. And violence is just that, violence, and it's not pretty. Men could be very, very destructive and do destructive things, and everything like that. So we understand that. Where I disagree is with the assertion that we should adjust our tone when it comes to women. And the reason why I disagree with that is because I do hear and understand and agree. Yes, women, a lot of the times, they will say things in order to try to get you off your center and everything like that. But a lot of the times, these are just ways to try to poke at your masculinity to see if they can get you into your emotion. And if you start raising your tone, if you start, if you go from here to here, and you take that up, that's now you kind of getting into your emotions, and at the same time, it's you getting into kind of a defensive position. I don't think that a man should ever need to necessarily raise their tone to get a point across with a woman, because there's no real threat of violence or anything like that from a woman. There's no real there's no perceived threat. There's nothing to necessarily get defensive over. If they're not being receptive of the information that you are trying to give, then and they don't want to accept that, then it's just on you as a man, to me, to just say, okay, I presented you with the information, I presented you with my arguments, you can take these arguments as they are or leave them. But what I'm not going to allow you to do, and this is just me just thinking in my head, what I'm not going to allow you to do is get me off of my center, off of my rocker. You know what I'm saying? This is why I don't think it's ever cool. I think it looks really weak as a man when you start to raise your voice at a woman, or when you start to have a shouting match back and forth with a woman. That looks very, very weak. Now, when it comes to men talking to men, typically when a man starts to change his tone with a man, it's because of the same thing. It's a defense mechanism. I might be talking to you like this. You might say something that strikes a nerve with me that maybe gets me into my emotion, and then I change my tone. Still, though, that is an emotional response. But the reason why we might do this with men is as a defense response, as a defense mechanism. This is letting you know that, okay, I'm getting agitated, and I'm getting agitated to the point to where things might start to get physical. It's almost like a dog giving you that bark or that growl or whatever that's letting you know, okay, I don't appreciate what you're doing. Things could go and now get physical. We're now reaching to the point to where I no longer necessarily want to talk this out or have a conversation. I want to go ahead and settle this the old-fashioned way, through a fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's with men. But with women, I'm not ever going to necessarily need to settle nothing through a fight, because to me, there's always an understanding these women don't pose no physical threat to me. The only time that I would change my tone with that is if I get in my emotions on that type of stuff. And if I'm getting into my emotions on that type of stuff, I'm literally falling right into the trap that she's basically poking and prodding, that she's basically setting up, and I'm just continuing to fall for that stuff. But that is just my point of view. If everybody else has anything else, let me know. But other than that, this is the Authentic Man, aka Godson Ken. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you can. Other than that, I'm out. Peace.